Before 1945, writing was never an ordinary act. It was a ritual reserved for those wealthy enough, educated enough, and patient enough to endure inconvenience. A fountain pen of that era could cost as much as a week's wages for a skilled worker. It needed to be rinsed, refilled, wiped clean, and cared for like a delicate mechanical creature. Even a small shift in atmospheric pressure could force ink to spill, turning a blank page into a dark blue stain, a mark of scholarly privilege rather than everyday life. Meanwhile, the vast majority of people, laborers, farmers, soldiers, could not truly record their world. Knowledge was written with demanding tools that served only a minority.
Observe the flawless flow.
Suddenly,
a consistent line,
in the mid-20th
unbroken
century,
by the need for dipping.
a simple
Truly
invention
a
shattered
modern
that
marvel.
order.
Every
a
so
ballpoint
often,
pen
a
costing
product
only
comes
a
along
few
that
cents
changes
achieved what
everything.
many political
This is
revolutions
that
failed
moment.
to accomplish.
This is the
It
breakthrough
transformed
you've
the
been
ability
waiting
to
for.
write the foundation of knowledge into a universal right. For centuries, intellectual power did not reside in ideas alone, but in the tools that express them. The quill pen, the instrument of scholars and monks, symbolized status. It required skill to cut, dip, and angle correctly, along with endless patience. Nibs wore out quickly, and ink had to be mixed by hand. Writing became a controlled art form, not a common activity.
This
When the
scroll
fountain
dates back
pen
to the
appeared in the
14th century.
19th century,
And this symbol here, what does
many
it mean?
believed knowledge
that
would
is the
become
royal seal.
automated. Yet instead of democratizing writing, it reinforced social hierarchy. Fountain pens were luxurious, fragile, and expensive. They required users to
This
understand subtle
agreement marks
physical
a
principles,
significant
pressure,
milestone.
I
capillary
concur.
action,
We are excited to
and
begin the
meticulous
next
maintenance.
phase.
A single drop of misplaced ink could ruin a suit or a business contract. The real cost was not money, but operational exclusivity. To know how to write now meant more than literacy, it meant mastering a complex technology.
Ensure
Thus,
these ledgers are secured
even at the
nightly.
beginning of the
We
20th
cannot
century,
afford leaks in this climate.
humanity's
Absolutely,
written
sir.
record remained
Only
dominated
authorized
by the
eyes
middle
will
and
see
upper
this data.
classes. The masses could read, but they could not yet write their own history. Laszlo Biro was not a scientist, but a journalist, someone who directly experienced the frustrations of writing tools. Living
at
in
this.
Budapest during
They
the
are
turbulent
arresting everyone
1930s,
mentioned in the article.
he witnessed a
We have to
world
get the
where
list
ideas
out
could
before
save a
midnight.
nation or destroy a life. One day, Biro noticed that newspaper printing ink dried quickly and resisted smudging. Unlike his slow, messy fountain pen ink, he asked a simple question: what if this fast-drying ink could be used for handwriting? The problem was that printing ink was too thick to flow through a traditional nib. Biro needed a new mechanism, one that released ink only when desired. The solution came from a child's game, a small rolling ball seated in a socket. In 1938, as fascism tightened its grip on Hungary, Biro and his brother George, a chemist, fled to Argentina, carrying the first design of the ballpoint pen. By 1943, they secured an international patent, opening a new chapter in the history of writing instruments. Yet this invention was not born from academic ambition, but from practical necessity: the military. The
patent
British
is
Royal Air
officially
Force
approved.
required pens
Congratulations
that could
on
write
this
at high
groundbreaking
altitude,
invention.
Thank
where
you.
pressure
It's been
changes
a long
caused
time
fountain
coming.
pens to leak. The ballpoint pen, relying on the mechanics of a rolling sphere rather than capillary flow, became the solution. During wartime, it recorded commands, coordinates, and lives. In peacetime, it would record thoughts. After the war, ballpoint pens remained luxury items. In the United States,
Tango, target heading
each
090.
Reynolds International
49er
Pen Company
Tang,
model
090.
sold for $12, equivalent to about $200 today. But in France, a young industrialist named Marcel Biche saw what others overlooked: perfection did not need elegance. It needed repeatability. Biche
As you
acquired the
can
patent,
see, the ink dries
redesigned the production
instantly.
process,
A
and
revolutionary
created the
design.
BIC Cristal,
Remarkable.
a pen
I
that could
shall
be
take this
manufactured
one.
by the millions each day, at a cost so low that repair became unnecessary. This marked the beginning of the Biche era, the empire of disposability. His philosophy was simple: if something costs more to maintain than to replace, discard it and make a new one. This was not merely an economic shift. It was a transformation in mindset. Tools of knowledge were no longer symbols of personal status. They became public infrastructure. Each Bic crystal consisted of just 3 parts: a transparent plastic body, a tungsten bomb, and an ink tube. It required no pumping, no cleaning, no instructions. It simply wrote something that had once been a privilege for thousands of years. At full capacity, BIC factories produced more than 30 million pens every day. A tiny mechanical invention became an icon of mass consumerism, a moment when knowledge itself was, for the first time in history, mass-produced. Today, no matter where you are from, the trading floors of New York City to a classroom in Vietnam, the image of a ballpoint pen is almost identical. No logos of privilege, no exclusive colors, just a familiar hexagonal shape and a tiny rotating ball beneath the user's hand. This is the standardization of knowledge. When writing tools became unified, administrative, educational, and economic systems began to speak the same material language. A contract signed in Tokyo could be read in New York. An exam written in Nigeria could be graded in Paris. The ballpoint pen became an infrastructure of cognition, while computers, phones, and AI evolve every month. The ballpoint pen has remained almost unchanged for more than 70 years. It needs no software updates, no batteries, no network connection. It represents a different form of progress, not innovation through constant replacement, but through stabilization. Like all great technologies, the ballpoint pen has rendered itself invisible. Few people notice it anymore. Just as few notice the air they breathe. Yet it is precisely this invisibility that allows the global knowledge system to function smoothly. The ballpoint pen was never intended to be a symbol, yet it achieved what countless revolutions could not: the equalization of expression from a rural student to a laboratory scientist. People hold the same tool guided by the same lines. The same physical mechanism. It blurred the boundary between elites and the masses, between those who write history and those who are written about. When knowledge is written with identical pens, the world begins to tell its story more equally. A Noah Sprzecha Chent pen, cheaper than a cup of coffee, has become a quiet weapon of democratic knowledge. It needs no slogans, no grand stage, only a line of ink thin, steady, and free.